This is our 14th podcast in the series. It's the 15th of Elul, the full moon, and that means we're midway through the month till Rosh Hashanah. This is Wednesday, September 6th. Yesterday we were talking about the Unetanneh Tokef prayer in the Rosh Hashanah morning or Musaf prayers. And this is where we pass before God and God writes down the plan for us for the coming year. This brought up the idea of destiny. Do we have a destiny? That idea seems incredible from a practical point of view. Don't we just go through life making decisions, one following on another? We may have goals, but do we have destinies? But destiny in some form or other is a concept found in virtually all the world's religions, in popular thought as well. The fates of Greek mythology, the philosopher's personal daimon, the guardian angel who's leading you onward, the code of the soul. We find it in so many places, and even in simpler ways. Were you born in the year of the dragon? Are you a Scorpio? Were you named after an ancestor? Have you ever had a psychic reading or tried the tarot cards? We look in many places for some kind of hint, some clue as to the shape of our greater reality, our higher or true self. Some would say it's just a sign of psychological insecurity. We want reassurance in times of distress. I might agree if this weren't so universal and found among people who appear to be very high functioning and not in trouble. It's so pervasive. It's like a deep human intuition. I'm reminded actually of a verse from Paul in the Christian scriptures. Now we see through a glass darkly, then face to face. Most of the time we have fuzzy intuitions about who we're supposed to be and where we're headed. But although it's not clear, there's something calling to us. We're looking for ways to get it clear. We hope to have a clearer vision at some point in the future. Is this a Jewish concept? Definitely. You find it throughout Jewish mysticism. But I like the way Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch explained it. He was not a mystic, but a great 19th century rabbi. He said the concept of yesh in Hebrew is a word that means the self, or more deeply, one's essence. And he said it's connected to the word Yeshua, salvation. This wasn't a historical etymology, but an intuitive connection. Salvation, by the way, was originally a Jewish concept, in case you thought it wasn't. When we have gotten off track from our true self, we are distressed. Life starts to feel like a prison from which we need rescue, or an illness from which we can't seem to get away. When we connect back to our yesh, our true being, it is Yeshua, salvation. For Rabbi Hirsch, it was true of the Jewish people as well. When they escaped Egypt and crossed the sea, they sang to the God of their salvation because they were returning to their true destiny, their essence as a people. In this light, I think we can look at the Unetanneh Tokef prayer in another way. When the prayer tells us that we have our stories in the book of remembrances and we set our own seal to them, and then they are read back to us, the book reads itself, we may have a sense of discomfort or even horror, not just because we felt we weren't good enough, but because we realize this is not me. This isn't what I was supposed to be. I was playing some role. I was doing what others expected of me. I was an automaton, or I was trying to be a hero, or some other effort that we were making which was off track. Because This is an accurate discernment. Yesterday we said judgment is essentially discernment and then decisions that follow from it. This discernment is like a mirror that captures every distortion of our true image. We realize that we have been seeing in a glass darkly. Then, as the prayer says, when we pass before God, who brings to mind the soul of each living being, looks at us each individually in our unique being, we are seen in a true light. Ah, yes, we are seen face to face. God then lays out our allotment, our portion, our limits. Some read that section as the limit of our length of life, but I understand it more broadly. God knows we cannot see so clearly by ourselves, so God sets the parameters that we will work in for the coming year. God knows what will put us back on track. We don't, of course, know that in any concrete sense, but we can sense it in our imagination, feel it in our soul. Oh, this is it. This is the way for me, my nativa, my path. And this is the profound and delicate moment. We may be resistant, or at least hesitant. Having limits put on us goes against our ego's wish to be master of all. We may inwardly start to argue, I know what I'm doing. But at this precious moment, we have the opportunities to stop our ego chatter and realize that we have been truly seen by God. We can, at that moment, turn and look at ourselves and the world with God's eyes, kind and clear and true. So after that most disturbing prayer of all, who will live and who will die, who will be happy and who will be miserable, perhaps we will want to say, I will let my old self die. God, help me cling to you to follow this new course. One of the most beloved prayers of the days of awe, Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King, ends with a request to God to grace us with this discernment and help us return. Act justly and kind us toward us, it says. V'hoshienu, and save us. That Yeshua. Bring us back to our true selves, and as a people, to our true purpose together.